All right, joining me now from beautiful Penticton, British Columbia, here is our Vancouver Canucks reporter, Farhan Lalji. Farhan, Elias Pettersson heading into the first year of that monster 8-year, $92.8 million extension. He's got a lot to prove, and Jim Rutherford says he looks great heading into camp and he's healthy, but how much pressure is Pettersson facing considering the way last regular season ended and especially the way he played in the postseason?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a tremendous amount of pressure on Pettersson, and hopefully Jim Rutherford and Rick Tocchet and guys that have talked to him in the last few months are right. And they've talked about the fact he's coming back relaxed and he just feels a lot more comfortable right now. They believe he's in a pretty good mood going into all of this. But when you talk about what he did last season, when you consider the final 40 games, regular season and playoffs combined, just 7 goals and 23 points. And that's simply not enough because so much of Vancouver's offensive success, their power play success, all of that is based on him. And when you talk to Rutherford, he said, look, players say they don't think about their contract when really, in fact, they do. And he was referring to that in believing that that was a part of the problem. And I think for the organization, that's a little bit of wishful thinking because he did wind up signing that extension with 5 weeks to go in the regular season, and his play didn't appreciably improve throughout that time and into the playoffs. So if he starts slow and the team starts slow, all eyes are going to be squarely on number 40.
Now, you know this better than anyone. The Canucks, coming off their most successful season in 13 years, they take the Oilers to 7 games in the second round. What are the expectations for this team this upcoming season, Farhan?
Well, I think the expectations are to take the next step. They had 109 points. You mentioned the second round defeat. So they believe they are better now than they were a year ago, and they think they can take one more step, at the very least one more step. And, you know, Patrick Allvin talked about much better depth in the organization. I asked him, you know, going into last year, there were some areas you were specifically looking at knowing you might need to improve them. He doesn't feel he's dealing with that right now. Rick Tocchet has said that they do need to improve offensively. And when you look at the final third of last season, their offensive totals significantly declined. Their power play performance significantly declined. So they need to improve in those areas, and you're going to see them attack those areas early in camp. Maybe even on day one, Rick Tocchet talked about the possibility of getting some power play work in, and he said that they want to be a little more aggressive with how they break the puck out. They want to get to the middle of the ice faster. They want to attack. He felt at times they looked slow in transition because they were trying to be safe. So he's got some drills in place for that. They want to attack more off the weak side. So just a more offensively aggressive mindset. And one other thing I'm really looking forward to seeing is in the absence of players like Dakota Joshua and Teddy Bluger, who won't be ready for the start of camp, I think some younger players are going to get some early opportunities. So a guy like Jonathan Lekramaki, who was their first-round pick 2 years ago, he's probably going to get some run alongside either Miller or Pettersson on day one of camp and in those early stages while those opportunities exist. So there's going to be a chance for some young guys to make an impression. So we'll see if they can do that. We'll see if they get some opportunities early in the season. But offensive emphasis is a big priority for this team.
Tell me about your day tomorrow. Is it going to be sunbathing on Okanagan Beach or wineries at Naramata? There's so much to do in that city. You're just hanging out? Don't tell me you're working.
Yeah, Lake Okanagan. I think we're going to be there. I might make it up to Kelowna and try to visit with your parents because I know they're still there. But first, Thatcher Demko is going to talk tomorrow. He's going to skate on his own in the morning, so we got to do a little bit of work before we get out there and get on the lake and get the jet skis because the weather's still pretty good here in the South Okanagan.
Mr. and Mrs. Onrait's door is always open to you, Farhan Lalji. Canucks open the preseason Tuesday at home against the Kraken. Farhan, thanks for this, my friend.